Hello, and welcome to Talkin Tabletop at Immortals. I'm Nate.
And I am Lane.
And today we will be unboxing the new 40k Killteam Octarius Box.
Are you ready for deployment?
Let's do this.
All right.
So, as we said, we are going to be unboxing this beautiful, beautiful box from Games Workshop, the Warhammer 40k Killteam Octarius Box. This is a skirmish game, which is a... How would you best describe a skirmish game to people who haven't actually played one before?
It's like 10 guys.
If that, yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you've ever played or seen anyone play Warhammer or Warhammer 40,000, they can have 50, 60, 100, sometimes 150 models on the table. In this case, you get to use individual models, maybe 5 to 10 models.
Which makes each model's loss all that more biting when it happens.
Right, you really feel it.
But the main difference between a skirmish game and a full army game is basically not really even time length, because these skirmish games can last as long as a full Warhammer 40k game or even a different army game. It's not that, it's the rules set themselves and the amount of detail that they put into each type of model that's on the table. When you're playing a large battle game, you're basically this unit or this detachment or whatever the terminology is for it, they fight as one. Whereas this one, most skirmish games, or pretty much all skirmish games, each individual model is going to be taking actions on their own and doing something specific, and most of them will have special rules associated with them. Personally, I love skirmish games. Not that I don't like any of the larger army games, but skirmish games to me always have a special place for me because they focus a lot more on narrative, and that's what I love. And as far as cost goes, it's a great thing for beginners to get into because the initial investment is nowhere near what it would be for a large army.
Right. I think, we just mentioned that sometimes in the proper Warhammer 40,000 games, you could have 100 or 150 models. Sometimes, and there are a bunch of different armies in the Warhammer universe, maybe 20, 25 different armies that you could choose from. Sometimes I'd like to try out one of those other armies without getting into the investment of hundreds of models and hundreds of hours of painting. I really enjoy painting my models, and sometimes it's nice to be able to take just 5 or 10 models, really put your time and effort into painting those, but that's all you really need to do. You don't need to make this huge time and money commitment to putting together an entire army.
So why don't we just get right into it, because I'm kind of chomping at the bit to get this thing open. This thing looks really, really cool. So with Games Workshop, whenever they put out a box set, normally the investment is well worth it, because individually, if you were to price everything out inside of them, it would be far more expensive than what they're giving you just in the box set. So with this one, just off the back of the box, it's showing you get, I think, 10 models, a ton of terrain, a board, I think dice, cards. First off, we have the terrain. There's quite a few sprues, actually. So there are 6 sprues here that are nothing but orky type barriers, junk, and...
But like good junk.
Yeah.
Like the kind of junk you want.
And it doesn't look like there's a ton of repeating ones, so it's not just the same sprue over and over and over again. Yeah,
it's a nice variety. And then there's also... you've got a variety of walls with also walkways on them, so you get elevation. Whenever I'm playing any kind of miniature game, I think elevation always adds to it. So you've got models that aren't just on the ground, but are up on buildings, scaffolding, on walkways. And I know Games Workshop usually does a great job with these games of making the terrain very important. It looks great on the tabletop. It really helps with your immersion in the game, but also they always have a lot of rules that really help you interact with it and make use of that terrain, so it makes your games more interesting. And a lot of times, especially with Games Workshop games, it's important, obviously, in a battle game that you want to defeat the enemy, you want to kill the enemy, but a lot of these games have missions where it's more important for you to get to a place and move to a place and take objectives and stand in a place. And that gives you just a more diversity in what you're trying to achieve. It's not just, do I shoot this guy? Or it's more, can I move into this position and hold this objective with a model and keep that model alive for a while? So it gives you more diversity of gameplay, really.
We also have...
widgets. Yes,
widgets. The movement sticks.
Well, there's also some little barriers on here. Now, when you set up... and Nate and I played a few games of this. When you set up for the Killteam games, you create a table, you set out your terrain, you create a scenario with that. But each player also gets 3 of these little barricades, and they come on this sprue. So you can get those barricades, and part of the setting up of the game is you actually put those out there, so you can actually put them up to be advantageous to you at the start of the game.
Yes, they actually have. They're not just to put on a table to add character. They actually have rules that help your strategy. Actually,
yeah, and they provide cover for your characters, so they're more more resilient to being shot at or damaged. And then, like Nate said, there are these movement gauges on here. There's 3 of them on here. You'll get to hear me complain about this later, but I don't know why they decided to go with little shapes on these widgets instead of just giving us a number of inches. That's the decision they made. But yeah, there's different movements. There will be 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, and 6 inches, and those are all marked on these little measurement widgets. We've got orcs.
All right. Well, you do the orcs. I'll
do
do my
orcs.
beloved Guardsmen.
So you get 2 actual different armies with this box, and one of them is orc commandos. So these are a specific type of orc. So they're green skin orcs, just like from any kind of fantasy setting, except they've been updated to a sci-fi setting. So you've got orcs with guns, and all sorts of different fun tools and equipment, because there are a lot of, like I said, every model can have different equipment and different weapons. And the nice thing about these is that if you do play Warhammer 40,000 and the large scale games, these are compatible with that game. If you don't, then they're really great. They're really detailed. And so they really give you a chance to spend a lot of time painting on these. If that's something you like to do, you've got a lot of opportunity for creative paint. And also some folks, when they build models, they'll do conversions. So something you might want to decide to take the arm from one, then put it on another, to a weapon from one, and move it to another. Orcs are great for that. And so, but yeah, you've got 10 orc models plus a squig. I love squigs. They're just little squiggly monsters, and they accompany the orcs wherever they go.
You also get 10 Krieg Guardsmen. So aesthetically speaking, Krieg Guardsmen they look a lot like World War I trench warfare soldiers. The lore of them is fantastic. I won't get into it here, but basically they do not shy away from dying a glorious death. And they're actually a very good foil for the orcs, I believe. I think that's probably why they threw these 2 armies in the same box. It's kind of GW always puts 2 armies that are good to be against each other in a box, because orcs are very much more up in your face. I'm going to punch you and eat and slash you and what have you. And guardsmen are more, I'm standing back and I'm going to let my gun do the speaking. But again, the detail on these are fantastic. And up until a few months ago when this came out, you could not get these in plastic. This was a strictly Games Workshop has an offshoot company called Forge World, where they make a ton of different stuff for Games Workshop, but it's not, I guess the best way to describe it would just be, it's a more expensive Games Workshop.
Yeah, it's less mainstream. It's more boutique, I guess.
Yeah.
It's all based in resin, so they build everything in smaller batches. It's more expensive. It has its own different rule sets. But like Nate was saying, until recently, you weren't able to get these types of models in plastic in your mainstream stores. So that's kind of nice that they brought those out.
Basically, if you want to customize these, you can. There's a plethora of things that you can customize. Even third party you can customize if you so choose. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of it now.
We got some dice.
No tabletop game is complete without a boatload of dice. Just an absolute boatload.
This comes with 10 nice bright orange dice. You'll probably want more than that, because each player can probably use 10 or 12 of these at a time. So if you got any laying around, you can grab some extra ones. But I always appreciate it when they include some of these. Occasionally, Games Workshop will release boxes that don't have dice in them, and it's like, I know I don't need more dice, but I kind of want the dice that are specific to this release.
Yes.
So we get these nice bright orange Killteam dice, and I appreciate that.
The bases for all of the characters. So we have the Killteam Octarius. This looks to be all of the missions that are specific to this game. It also has stats for terrain and stratagems and data sheets for the armies that come in the box. So this is part of the rules, but not the rules themselves. This is just the specific.
Kind of like the quick start guide,
Yeah.
I think, where it's going to help you get started with these 2 armies. All you really need to play the game is the core book. There's also something called a compendium, which doesn't come in here, which has all the army rules for the specific different armies. Like I said, there's 20, maybe 25 different armies in the 40K universe. So this little Octarius book just gives you the rules you need for the orcs and for the Krieg Guardsmen.
And then you have the actual rule book, which you can buy separately, actually. The core rule book and all the, like I said, the compendium. You don't have to buy this box to get the rules. You can just get the rules, but this box has a lot of cool gubbins in it. So.
It's a good deal.
Yeah.
But the nice thing I like about Killteam is that you don't need to have these specific Killteam models. If you're a Warhammer player, you've already got an army. You can already use the models you already have. So you can use. You can just get the book if you want to. The box set is a nice deal because you get all the terrain, all the rules, all these cool models. But you can definitely do it with just the models you already have if you're already a 40k player.
But you would have to pick up the compendium to get the rules. So this is the rules to play the game. The compendium will have the rules for your army specific data sheets, and I guess the meat and potatoes of each army is in there. This is just instructions on how to put your models together, which actually have gotten much better over the years.
Yeah.
It used to just be kind of like I'm aging myself, the old Legos, where it was just like I'll show you a picture and then the next picture is going to be different because I'm going to have this Lego on it instead of the other. This one they actually color coded and make it so that it goes together fairly simply.
I mean, the instructions used to be, back when I was a kid, like the cover of the box. The picture on the front of the box is like, maybe you can make it look like that. Maybe not. Good luck. So it's great that they have a lot. And also they go into the base sizes because there are different base sizes for the different models. So it's important to make sure they're matched up.
And lastly, I have a cutout sheet here of, I'm sure I'll find out when I read the rules, but it looks like objective markers of some kind, and a bunch of other little widgets. So
yeah, when we played, if you are a Warhammer player, you play 40k. It's really you go and then your opponent goes. There's alternating activation in this game, so both players are always engaged. But you'll activate one or two models, then your opponent will activate one or two. So some of those help you just keep track of what has activated, what has not, what has shot, what hasn't had a chance to yet. I found that when we played, it was pretty handy to have those.
And the last little bit in this box is the game board itself. So this game is played on a specific size board. I believe this is, what is it, 22 by 30 something? It's almost 2 foot by 3 foot, just a little shy of it. But it's a dual-sided game board just to show the boundaries of your kill team. Oh yes.
There are cards. One of the nice things, the fun things about this game is it gives you a certain amount of assets like command points that you can use during the game to do special actions, to do more characterful or more impactful things. And you have cards that kind of give you an idea of what those things are. So those are handy to have. And then, of course, I've never really used these when I painted models, but it does come with decals. So if you want to put squad markings on the Guardsmen or clan markings on the orcs, you've got a lot of decals that you can do with that with.
Decals are finicky, but they do make a model look pretty cool in my opinion, if they're done right, but it's hard to do them right.
Yeah, I spend so much time painting them, I don't want to put stickers on them.
Yeah,
but some people like doing it, so it's up to you, but you've got that option. There's some nice ones in there.
I think that about covers what comes in the Octarius. Or Octarius? Yeah. I want to make sure I'm saying it. Octarius. It's just
a lot
box.
Of words. Warhammer 40,000 Killteam Octarius.
Yeah, that is quite a few words. Join us next time when we actually dive into the rules and we will give our opinion on the actual game itself. Any of this, though, can be picked up here at your friendly local gaming store, Immortals Inc. If you have any questions that you would like to throw to us about Killteam or tabletop games in general, make sure you visit our Discord and drop a line in. Both Lane and I are on there constantly, so it's not that we'll always be able to see them.
I look forward to hearing from you guys.
All right, until next time.
All right, we'll see you.